Alright, so right before Ctwc begins, I wanted to kind of go over my predictions, who I think will win, and basically why, and how I think this will all happen. So we're going to start in top left, Sodium versus Silly Shark. So obviously 32 versus 33, always very close, but Sodium has not played much competition recently, and his past Ctwc performances, he hasn't been the greatest. Silly Shark, I feel, is on, the rise, and his qual was pretty solid. So I'm going to give it to Silly Shark here, but obviously 32-33 could go either way. Knight versus Gunter, I'm going to have to give it to Knight in 3-0. I mean, Gunter, obviously, congrats making the bracket, came out all the way from France, but he is a DAS player, so I cannot hope to see him win against Knight, a very established, very good roller. And it's very hard for a DAS player to win, any DAS player. And the top here we have Alex T versus Silly Shark. Of course, I'm going to have to give it to Alex T. Alex T is extremely dominant. He won Mega Masters. He's the number 1 seed, 68 points. I mean, Alex T is obviously one of the greatest players to have ever played the game, and I have to give it over Silly Shark. DMJ versus Knight, I have to give to DMJ, but this is a coin flip. I love DMJ and I love Knight. They're both fantastic players. Knight has more experience, but I feel Knight suffers from more in-person nerves. DMJ is kind of an in-person warrior. He's more consistent than Knight. Knight is more aggressive. So if Knight can pad her consistency just a little, she could win, but I think DMJ's in-person nerve control will give him the win, probably 3-2. 3-2 either way, if this goes either way, but I'm going to have to give it to DMJ. And then Alex T, I'm going to have him, obviously. Alex T is Alex T. You could put hardly any player here and he would lose, and he would still win. So Alex T making it to the top 8, I don't think anybody would disagree. Okay, so let's go over here. SV versus Redshirt. I'm going to have to give it to SV. SV, of course, is from England, so England disadvantages, time zone difference. But Redshirt in person, he only plays Ctwc, and he's a Portland, I believe he's from Portland. And I just feel SV is more consistent, more high scoring, and I feel that especially he made top 8 last year, or top 16 last year. He's very strong, and I see him at least winning this match. And then Guafi versus SV. I'm going to have to pick Guafi. He's an American, has the better time zone. And he's been very strong. Of course, number 8 seed. And especially last year, went pretty neck and neck with me. Of course, ended up losing, I think, in game 4 or 5. But he's very strong. And I see Guafi winning here. Honestly, I think he's very strong, and I think he's leveled up his game a lot. Now here, Deck versus Paco's Taco. Paco's Taco is one of those new players that I don't actually know too much about, and Deck is, of course, one of my favorites. So this is a little biased, or a lot biased. So I have Deck winning here. I just have Deck winning. I remember him being very strong. He wasn't on any of the streams, but I think he got about 25 points, which is very good. Paco's Taco getting 15. And then Paco's Taco, he's one, I think he played in Futures. I'm not exactly sure. I think he plays a lot of CTL. But, of course, I love Deck, so I have Deck here. And then Miles versus Deck. Miles has obviously been very strong since 2020. And I would love to see him make a deep run here. But I think he has a winning Deck. Of course, a lot of these round of 32 matches are very unbalanced, favoring the top 16 seeds. So I just have Miles winning here. Miles winning, obviously. Here, Miles here. Alright, so let's go down here. Ed Kirby versus Dylan. Dylan is a tapper. Ed Kirby is a very solid roller. I'm going to have Kirby win here. And then Sidnev. Sidnev's an absolute beast. Sidnev could win the whole thing, I think. Sidnev is one of those players that, on a good day, will just sweep the floor. And I think on most days, Sidnev into the top what is this, 16 here? Top 16, yeah. I didn't talk about this match, Guafi versus Miles. I have Guafi winning here. Guafi is very strong. Very, 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 very strong. I think he's underrated. I think he could be a dark horse if he wasn't playing against Alex T. But I could see him making the top 8 and even taking a game off of Alex. Taking a game off of Alex. Alex T is very, very, very strong. But I do see Guafi winning against Miles 3-1 or 3-2. Very close. Miles, very strong, but I have Guafi here. Alright, so we have Rhubarb versus Aaron. Rhubarb is a roller. Aaron is a tapper, and I feel Aaron was not very strong during his qual. Rhubarb winning here. I have Rhubarb ahead. Pixel Andy versus Rhubarb. Andy is one of those players. He seemed a little shooken up in his qual. Obviously, 13th seed, very good, but he had a couple of games, early top outs, but Rhubarb. But Andy versus Rhubarb, I think they played before, and I think Andy won 3-0. So I think Andy's very strong. Andy will win here. And then Sidnev versus Andy. You just have... Sidnev has more in-person experience. Pixel Andy has all those injuries, and I feel Andy has not been near his prime. Of course, Andy could push through and make it, but I think Sidnev's... not experience. Sidnev's strengths will appear here. She made the finals in 2023, I think. Very strong. Sidnev could win the whole thing. And I think she will beat Andy here. Alright. One of my favorite players is Robot. I mean, he got a 1.7 in his qual. And he's so freaking all over the place. He's so chaotic. He definitely... I think he beat Shadow Knight. Shadow Knight is more one of those low consistency players, like consistent 1.1, 1.2. Obviously, he's capable of higher scores, like I've seen 1.6s out of them, but I think Zero, I think he has the ability in him, because he's very strong. If he can tighten up his game a little, he could definitely beat Shadow Knight, and I think that's more likely to happen. This one could go either way, but I think Zero wins here. And then Dog versus Zero, I mean, you have to pick Dog. Dog is just one of those players you never root against winning. Dog could win the whole thing. I say that a lot about a lot of players. But Dog is Dog, so Dog goes here. Cole versus, I think that's Philoxy. I'm sorry, I don't know too much about Philoxy. I remember last year, they went out in around 48, in round 0, and Cole is very strong. Cole does not do too well in his quals, but in his competition, he does very, very well. So, and especially considering the seed difference, Cole wins here. Cole versus Eyeball. Eyeball is Eyeball. Eyeball last year made it all the way to the top 4, and I think got swept against Meme, but Eyeball was extremely strong kill screen. Cole could win. I think this is like a 55-45 split here. But I think odds are Eyeball wins. Eyeball wins. Because Eyeball's very strong. Cole. This is hard. This is very hard. This is one of those matches I actually have no idea who will win. But I pick Eyeball. Because the seed difference and the qualifying format is very... it brings alive, the true skill level, and I feel Cole was a little shaky during his qual, and that's it. That's the only difference between these two players. It's really a coin flip, but I have Eyeball here. Then Dog, Eyeball, Dog. I mean, Dog is Dog, so I have to put Dog here, and for the sake of all that is fair. And then we have Dog Sidnev. Dog Sidnev. What a match this will be on Sunday. I think I have Dog winning. Dog. Sidnev has not played a lot recently. I don't know how much she stepped up her game. She's obviously the higher seed. Dog had a couple false starts during his qual, but he's like the best stacker in the game, other than maybe Dangler, and he's a consistency demon. And I feel he can pull out a couple 1.7, 1.8s and win, and go here. Then Dog versus Alex T. this is the matchup of all time. Dog Alex T. It's a coin flip. Alex T. I'm picking Alex T only because Alex T, one, is the #1 seed, showing his in-person level, and two, he won the most recent Masters event, and he beat Dog there. So that's the only reason I have Alex T here. Of course, this is another 50-50, and it'll probably maybe go 5 games. It's too close to call, but I have to pick Alex T here because of the Masters performance. So that's the left side of the bracket. So I have Alex T in the finals here, you can obviously see. But we're gonna go here. Crab, Rangan, I forgot how to pronounce his name. But looking at his qual versus the Asian has been, I feel, not as relevant as Crab. I think Crab has had more experience in recent. So I'm just gonna pick him over the Asian because I don't know too much about the Asian. He hasn't played very much. No, he's a roller, but I feel Crab has more potential to get higher scores, and the Asian is more consistency. So I'm gonna have to pick Crab here. Fractal versus Kitten. I mean, you gotta pick Fractal. I love Kitten. He's such a character, but Fractal's Fractal. And even though he was a little shaky, he was very shaky during his qual. He had a couple mistakes. Yeah, Fractal going here. I mean, Kitten can't stack, and he's my friend, so I can say that. Meme versus Crab. Meme is very strong. 2nd seed, super consistent. Meme is one of those other players who could win the whole thing. There's like 8. And Meme I think has a good shot at potentially winning the whole thing if she's on her on game. And then Dangler Fractal. Dangler versus Fractal really depends on Fractal, because Dangler, we know Dangler depends on Fractal's 29, because Dangler will make it to 29 with solid pace every game, nearly every game. It'll be 1.1s, 1.2s, and it'll be up to Fractal to see if he can get his nerves under control for at least 3 out of the 5 games, 29, and I think he can do it. I think Fractal can do it. Of course, Dangler can play 29, but I think Fractal can do it here. But I would not be at all surprised if Dangler won. Dangler's very strong during his qual, and Fractal was a little shaky. So depends if Fractal can get his nerves under control. But this is another like 45-55 split. But I'm just gonna have to pick Fractal, and Fractal Meme. Meme is incredible, and Fractal is a little shaky. He's a little shaky, honestly. So I'm gonna have to pick Meme. Meme is very strong in person. She's a demon. She got the 2 million. She had huge games, and and she has the clutch factor. She's very clutch, and I feel Fractal lacks that. So I'm gonna pick Meme. Meme is super. God damn it. Meme is very strong. And then alright, over here, Wintera versus Doge. Doge plays very little. I feel Wintera has more experience, and I feel that they can do it. They can definitely beat Doge here. Probably 3-1, 3-2. Wintera here. Then Tetris Time versus Wintera. Tetris Time blew me away with his qual. He was super strong. He had a couple of off-pace games, but he was so strong. He had the 1.4 into 29 game. Blew me away. Completely blew me away. I think Tetris Time is very strong looking in this year. So obviously I'm going to have Tetris Time here, especially as the 7th seed. And then Tugi versus... I forgot. I didn't learn how to say this, but I think Tsuki. That's the English pronunciation. I'm Tsuki versus Tugi. Tsuki is a tapper. Tugi is a solid roller. Tugi here, and then Critical Tugi. Critical Lapis is one of those other players that completely blew me away. I did not know too much about them. I remember seeing them rise their 29 play and 10th seed. They were so strong during their qual. Critical is so strong. So strong, so consistent. I think they play a lot of CTL. I have Critical winning here over Tugi. Tugi just seemed a little shaky during his qual. and Critical was so good. Critical versus Tetris Time. This is 50-50. Let's be so for real. It's between Tetris Time's ability to be aggressive versus Critical's consistency. And Tetris Time's consistency, of course. And I feel Critical has the consistency in him to beat Tetris Time's aggression. And I feel this consistency factor will take Critical here in a 3-2. This is a toss-up. It's pick your favorite. Tetris Time, I love Tetris Time. I'm one of his biggest supporters. I love it so amazed by his call, but I think Critical was consistency, and I like to reward consistency over aggression. That's why I have Critical here. And the Critical meme is going to the top 4. I don't think there's any way around it. I think meme is very strong, and meme could win the whole thing. Critical is, I think this is their first or second year, and it'll be an amazing performance as a rookie. And then, but meme has so much experience, she's improved so much. So I have meme in the top 4 here. It's if you can't say, you can't change my mind. But Critical, one of those players to look out for in the next coming years, 2027, 2028. He could win. He could win soon if he really picks up his game. You know, he can do it. Alright. Now the bottom quadrant. Bottom right quadrant. Pick characters, I forget, Noe. I think it's Noe. I have Noe winning. Noe has more in-person experience. Pick remember, is more of an online player. I feel Noe has more experience with rolling. And I liked his performance last year. So I have Noe winning. But Pick obviously. 30, 35, these things could always happen. The Noe Scooty, I feel like this match has happened before, but Scooty's in his prime. And there's no way around it. There's no way around it. Scooty's is near his prime, in his prime, and he will win this match, nearly 100% of the time. So I have Scooty here. So Eevesy versus Firedox. I'm just gonna say Firedox was a little shaky through his call. I love Firedox. He's one of my favorites. But Eevesy, so strong. Completely blew me away in her qual. So I'm just having Eevesy. Firedox. I love Firedox. W Jockey Pulse. But he was a little shaky. That's all I can say. Tristop Eevesy. This is going to be a hell of a match in the top 32. This is one of those matches you got to look out for. This will go either way, but I think Tristop has the clutch factor in him. In these in-person events, Tristop is very good at in-person. He's very good at this. This is where he strives in. Tristop will win this match 80% of the time. Eevesy is so perfectly strong, but Tristop I feel has more experience, and that's it. And Scooty Tristop. This is one of those things where Tristop ends up finding himself year after year against these top players, like the number 1, number 2. Did it with Dog, did it with Fractal. And the question is, will he be the one to stop Scooty? And I feel this is the year where we say no. I think this is the year where things change and the favorite wins against Tristop. Because Scooty is just unmatched in talent this year, I find. And Tristop, as good as he is, as clutch as he is, as legend killer as he is, he even beat me. I don't think this is the year Scooty chokes. I think this is the year Scooty goes all the way. As you can see, I think Scooty wins it all. But if Tristop beats Scooty, it would be the third year in a row, and Tristop will forever cement his name as a legend killer. But this would be his ultimate test, and I don't think he can do it. I don't think Scooty can be beat this year. I think he can be beat, but I don't think it will happen. Alright, to the bottom 8th. I don't think this can happen. I really don't. Hydrant versus Wallband. Wallband is one of those in-person players. I loved his match in the round of 0 last year. Hydrant was pretty okay during his qual, but I don't think He was very snazzy dressed. He had a suit and everything. That was pretty cool. But I don't think he can do it. I think Wallbant is strong enough, and of course I'm actually very biased. I'm gonna say this. I love Wallbant, and Hydrant doesn't play that much, so I'm gonna give this a Wallbant. Cobra Wallbant. Cobra is one of those underrated players. He's been playing a little less online, but Cobra, so incredibly strong. 6th seed. Cobra, he's very, very, very solid. If he wasn't in the same bracket as Scooty, he of course could do a lot more. But Cobra here, he's super strong and will be either Hydrant, Dude, or Wallbant. To go here, Namvi versus Brodendamp. Brodendamp has been one of those. He's a CTWC player, and I feel I favor them a little less. Danvy's been on a little bit of a decline, but he's strong. He does these in-person events more. Brodendamp, he has more experience. Danvy will go here, and then Huff. Huff, I did not expect Huff to do as well as he did in his qual. I remember last year he was like near the bottom of the quals, and I don't know if he's been practicing. I don't know what he's been eating. He was so incredibly strong during his qual, so I have Huff here. And then we make our way to Cobra Huff. Cobra versus Huff. Cobra is so strong. Huff is so strong. This is one of those great matches that you don't really think about when you think of top players. But I could easily see rollovers, 39 super kill screens. And I feel Cobra, since he was so good last year in his qual, and especially in comp play, I think I have Cobra here because Huff only really improved this year. So I have Cobra here. But this one is a 3-2 match either way. Pick your favorite. Then we have Scooty Cobra. Scooty, as I said, Scooty is undefeated. Scooty might win 3-0, might win 3-1. And Cobra, he's super strong, but he's not on the same level as Scooty, and I don't think very many players are. This is no offense to Cobra. I love Cobra. He's a great friend of mine. But I have Scooty here. Then we have Scooty Meme. The Scooty Meme will be one of the greatest matches in the tournament. I think it rivals the Alex T Dog match. And I think I have Scooty win. Meme is so good at regionals. She's so good. She had the high score. And Meme could win this match, but I think I have to give it to Scooty. Scooty's just the statistics support him. He's won all those master events over the course of the past year. I think Scooty makes his way to the finals, and I don't think very many would disagree with me. And Scooty Alex T. This is the finals match that will happen, most likely. And this one will go either way. This will be a match for the ages if it does happen. Of course, Dog, Meme, a lot of these dark horses like Critical, Tetris Time, and Sidnev, obviously. But if Alex Scooty, if this does happen, will be the greatest match that we have ever seen in Tetris in a live event. And I think Scooty will reign victorious this time. But this goes either way. Scooty, I think, has earned it. Alex T has won twice already, and I feel Scooty has really, really improved. And I think Scooty will take it all the way. Truly. I think they played last year. This one's so close. Alex T, of course, 2-time champ, won the Mega Masters event. But Scooty, I think Scooty can do it this year. I think Scooty, this finals match is a 60-40 match in Scooty's favor. I think he's super strong. As long as his mental's in the right place, he can beat anybody. So same as Alex T. But if Alex T does end up winning here, which is a very real possibility, that he will cement his dynasty, 24, 25, 26, and as the number 1 seed, he obviously could do it. But that's it. I think Scooty's strong enough to do it this year. I think Scooty will win. That's it. And that's all I have for my predictions. Tournament starts very soon, so I'm very excited to watch that. And thanks for watching. Yeah, of course.